The year is 1950. The world is watching Brazil. The FIFA World Cup beckons. A team from Asia qualifies. They play with incredible speed. They play with mesmerizing skill. They play completely barefoot. This is the Indian football team. They are ready for the world, but they never play a single match. India qualified for the 1950 World Cup. It was a miracle. But the truth is stranger. They did not even qualify on the pitch. They qualified by default. Burma, Indonesia, and the Philippines all withdrew from the qualifiers. India won their group without kicking a single ball. They were handed a golden ticket to Brazil. The other teams wore heavy leather boots. The Indian players felt the grass with their bare soles. Just 2 years earlier, in 1948, they shocked the world. They played France in the London Olympics. They lost by just 2 goals. The crowd was mesmerized by their dizzying dribbling. The British press called them barefoot wizards. The world wanted to see them in Brazil, so why did they pack their bags and stay home? How does a team throw away a historic opportunity? The legend says FIFA banned barefoot play. The legend says India refused to wear shoes. The legend says stubborn pride kept them away. But the truth is far more frustrating. It was not just about shoes. It was about a devastating lack of vision. The All India Football Federation made a brutal calculation. The trip to Brazil took weeks by ship. The cost was enormous for a newly independent nation. The federation saw no value in the World Cup. They thought the Olympics were the only prize that mattered. They refused to spend the 60,000 rupees needed for the journey. They simply abandoned the tournament. The players were heartbroken. The dream died in a dusty boardroom. Did this one terrible decision cost India its entire football future? The consequences were swift and humiliating. In 1952, India went to the Helsinki Olympics. This time, FIFA strictly enforced the shoe rule. The players were forced to wear heavy boots. They were completely uncomfortable. They were clumsy and sluggish. They tripped over their own feet. They lost 10-1 to Yugoslavia. The barefoot magic was gone. The federation's worst fears seemed confirmed. They retreated further from the world stage. India vanished from global football. But the story does not end there. Back home, the domestic league was thriving. The Durand Cup drew massive crowds. The Kolkata Maidans were packed with passionate fans. Clubs like Mohun Bagan and East Bengal were like religions. But the style of play was isolated. It was stuck in the past. The world was moving to tactical systems and scientific fitness. India was still relying on raw street skills. The gap between India and the world grew wider every single year. The barefoot era was officially over. But the psychological damage was done. The federation had tasted global defeat. They decided it was safer to stay home. They turned their focus inward. While the rest of the world competed against each other and improved, India played only regional tournaments. They won the Asian Games in 1951. They won the Merdeka tournament. They became big fish in a very small pond. The 1960s arrived. India was a powerhouse in Asia. They finished 4th in the 1960 Asian Games. They won the 1962 Asian Games gold. Players like Chuni Goswami and PK Banerjee were national heroes. But they never tested themselves against Europe or South America. The World Cup remained a distant rumor. Then, the rot set in. The sports infrastructure crumbled. Grassroots academies vanished. The All India Football Federation was plagued by infighting and corruption. Coaches went unpaid for months. Players lacked basic nutrition and modern training. The domestic league grew stale. How can a nation of billions fail to find 11 world-class players? The answer arrived in 1983. India won the Cricket World Cup. The nation exploded with joy. A new sporting religion was born. Corporate sponsors immediately shifted their money. Television networks bought cricket rights. Kids in the streets traded their footballs for cricket bats. Football was pushed into the shadows. It survived only in pockets: Bengal, Goa, Kerala, and the Northeast. The rest of the country simply stopped caring. By the 1990s, the gap between India and the world was a canyon. The game had evolved. Players were faster. Tactics were complex. Fitness was ruthless. India tried to qualify for the World Cup. The results were humiliating. In the 2002 qualifiers, they lost 8-1 to Yemen. In the 2006 qualifiers, they lost 7-0 to Japan. In the 2010 qualifiers, they lost 7-1 to Lebanon. India was not just losing. They were completely outclassed. The 1950 decision was not just a missed flight. It was a symptom of a deeper disease. The disease was apathy. It was a catastrophic failure of imagination. The Federation never built a long-term roadmap. They never invested in youth development. They never sent players abroad to learn. They protected their ego by avoiding the world stage. They chose comfortable obscurity over painful growth. Today, India has a population of 1.4 billion people. Yet, the FIFA ranking hovers around 100. The Indian Super League launched in 2014. It brought foreign stars and shiny new stadiums. It brought money and television viewers. But the grassroots remain barren. The youth academies are still disorganized. The deep cultural shift has not happened. Millions play the game, but very few are trained to survive at the highest level. We think India missed the 1950 World Cup because of bare feet. The truth is far more uncomfortable. India missed the World Cup because its leaders chose to look away. They surrendered the global stage before they even stepped on it. And a sleeping giant has been sleepwalking ever since. The ghost of 1950 still haunts every missed pass. It haunts every failed qualification. The Barefoot Wizards did not fail Indian football. The men in the boardrooms did. India did not just miss one tournament. It missed the entire future of the game.